Well, good morning. I'm Robert Wilson with Cowboy Wisdom Hypno Acuity, presenting 7 ways I rose out of my ego, larceny. Because I now realize my ego steals money from me because I become hard-headed and stubborn about life. So I really become stubborn about my life, and then I stay the same. So what I awaken to is my ego keeps me stuck in yesterday, and then I never rise out of yesterday. I stay the same. And our egos are really our thinking mind, and they just keep us where there is. I call my ego edging good out because the ego stops all listening. And it also makes me a snobby selfishness, because I think I'm better than everybody, and my way is the right way, and this is this, and I can never get into the flow of a conversation because I have to be right, and it has to be my way, and it has to be this. And I was a professional at that stuff, but my ego shuts off the listening, and what it really shuts off is the flow of energy from my body, because your intuition, imagination, and your subconscious mind's all here, and it really locks you into being stubborn. I was a professional at being stubborn and hard-headed, I want you to know. So I got rid of that stuff, because when you think you're better than somebody because you got education or this, the one that's missing out in egotistical arrogance is you. Egotistical arrogance is a fear, and it's also being afraid of your own abilities. Just because somebody's going through a challenge, that doesn't mean anything more than they're going through that challenge that is individualized for them. All this is hard to understand, but if you open up to understand it, is all the chaos and the challenges and the adversity and controversy in the world can be shown to everybody, but it's unique to everybody's own way of life. See, we try to make chaos a great big thing, and all chaos is showing us our shortcomings and its unrealized wisdom. That'll be a class on Thursday, or a podcast. And then we think we're really kind of cool, and we act egotistically arrogant to people, rude. That's your ego. That's ego larceny, stealing wisdom from you and me. The more egotistically better than somebody you think you are, the more you stay the same. Look at the world. Look at the leadership of the world. It's been stuck in the same BS since the beginning of time. But we really do have, rising out of ego larceny, you stop stealing the dreams of yourself. Ego larceny is the thief of your dreams. It's that simple. And, and it also steals the quality of life, because you may be sitting in a house with $1 trillion looking down upon people. But what wisdom is down there or out there that will expand your $1 trillion lifestyle? This world is so stuck in educated incompetence and third world enslaving mindsets, it can't move forward. Look at the last 4 years, the world has stayed the same. Well, we think we're going somewhere, but it's still the same. Same thing, same people doing things. Slave labor, sex trafficking, bombs in the Middle East. That's egotistical larceny. That's ego larceny, because we're unwilling to communicate with each other. Communication rises all. Egotistical larcenist is a loser's way of life. You can have all money is a material chattel. heart energy is free flowing, emancipating elegance to dance you through life. You know, you got all these people in the world today, but the one that really sticks out to me is Gandhi. Gandhi was in the 1950s. That's what, almost 70 some years ago? And he still is being talked about today. Dwight D. Eisenhower was our president in the 50s. How much is he talked about today? Not enough. Dwight D. Eisenhower said something in his in his last speech to America, said not to get involved in military industrial complexes of the world. And that man was right on, because, you know, you can do what you want, but war has never won anything except money for other people. Oh, yeah, I got rid of a few dictators, but next door there's another one waiting. See, the egotistical arrogance of education has us believing that education and business is going to rise us out, but it's people communicating with people that will rise us out of there. But see, that's how the ego is easily taught to be a follower of something. And that is what we do good, is the egotistical following. And something I've witnessed in the world, in the media, all one person has to do is say something, and it'll come through all of them, and pretty soon it's going nationwide. I've noticed that. And the thing about the egotistic ego larceny is, whatever we think and believe, that's where we stay. And when people say believe, what do you believe? How is that believing keeping you stuck in yesterday? It's about listening to the flowing energy of everything that'll rise you out of it. But the world is really stuck in ego larceny. Jesus was I. Because the ego larceny is thinking you know everything, stealing my life, rising wisdom from communicating with other people. How are you stuck in, well, this is what we did in 1964, so we got to do it today? I grew up with that. Yeah, my parents walked 10 miles uphill to school both ways. Yeah. And see, how is education a foundation, but what's beyond it is unrealized wisdom to expand you through it? And how do we think, how does education create ego larceny? Because you think that education, you know everything, and you always know more than somebody that was sovereignly educated or self-educated or sovereign educated. See, the thing about the ego larceny is you're already stuck in your thinking mind and everything you know, and that is as far as you want to go, because everything out here is unrealized. It's unrealized bliss, really, because it boldly liberates internal savvy, streaming intuitive wizardry every day. The more we stay inside the ego and our egotistical arrogance, know-it-all ignorance, thinking a book has all the answers. Books have answers. Life has pathways of enlightenment, illuminating your trails of triumph to stroll you down to your beaches of bountiful, of bliss, which is a bold, lively, intuitive savvy. See, we try to think our way through life rather than listen our way through life. The ego will never allow you to listen to anything. It'll always think it has the answer. How are we always looking for answers and solutions, but the answer and solution is basically the same as you've always done and always had. But the biggest thing about the ego larceny is it shuts off your listening agility, kept you thinking the way I've always done things is the only way to do things. And you look at the world today, and something I really discovered about all the talk shows out there, they all talk about the problem. They never talk about a pathway out of it. They talk about solutions and answers, but they never talk about the pathway of enlightenment. If you let go of answers and solutions, opening up to the pathway of enlightenment, you expand through life with the greatest of ease. And the way you've always done things has got you to where you're at. And boy, do I know that one, staying right where I'm at. I've done that before. Still do it. See, something I've really learned is just because I've done it that way, never meant I even done it right, done it the best way, the easy way in the first place. The world is stuck in doing things the hard way. I listen to a lot of self-help, personal growth, self-improvement. They always say, that's hard. It's hard, but you can do it. No, that's a lie. But if I can tell you something's hard and I give you a little bit, you keep coming back for more. But if I showed you, whenever you accomplish something, that's easy. The easiest thing there is in the world is to let go of everything you never want in your life again. See, the ego is attached to the way that in your habits and your thinking, knowing. Listening is a lubricant, invigorating, stubborn tenacity every day. Listening is a lubricant of liberation. Opening up your internal trend-setting tenacity to expand through life. And, the more I open up to this, and whenever I hear something, when I used to hear I don't agree with that, and I'd put up a wall. Not a little wall, a big wall, like the wall of China, really thick. But when you hear something that you don't like or don't want to hear, ask, why is this being presented to me here? Why am I apprehensive? Where's the wisdom or something, or the fresh foresight? Ask a question. Take down the ego larceny wall. The ego is a wall of stall and crawl through life. That's all it is. The more I open up to listen, I can rise out of that my ego larceny, because the only one stealing from you is you. And that's your thinking, knowing, memory, mind, and everything you've always done. That's what steals the fresh and the now from you. It's not here now, it's fresh and now. You are the vanguard venturer of your life, and that's a leader and just a traveling treasure through life, because your wisdom, insight, and clarity is unique to you. But when you put your wisdom, insight, and clarity with everybody else's, it makes the world turn on trend-setting, ubiquitous, revolutionary nirvana. I'm getting over a cold, so everything's a little bit larcenous today. So we're going to rise out of the cold and admit and realize my viewpoints, opinions, and beliefs that I ingrained from my daily encounters were from my parents and outside sources, and I had to be right. That is something I was stuck on big time. I had to be right. If it was somebody else's idea, it'd never work. Or never be that. And see, I quit working on myself to liberate myself, to realize my ego is the thief of me in my dreams and my life. And my ego, I learned from my parents, the physical world, people I'm around. And the more I awaken to understand it's my egotistical arrogance, know-it-all ignorance, stubborn thinking, hard-headed knowing, and everything is this way. It's in a box. I have a boundary of boxes, and that is the thief of my dreams. Boundaries are thieves. Whatever you're apprehensive about is holding you back. If you let go of that and open up to apprehension, you really open up to something fresh in your life. See, I like fresh over new because fresh is here. New, I have no idea. But fresh foresight illuminates my paths of enlightenment, rising me out of my ego larceny onto my streets of fancy free, feeling rich every day, enjoying life my way. But most of the stuff you do, you learn from your parents. And about 2 months ago, I realized how much I mirrored my parents. So I awakened to rise out of that. And I stopped trying to look good in other people's eyes because I never wanted to look weak. And I was afraid of the ridicule and criticism if you did something beyond their thinking, knowing mind. So I'd do things to look good in their eyes. Then I'd go home feeling misery because I was living somebody else's life. Life is living individual freedoms every day, and it's your individual freedoms. You're an individualist, and that's free from everything. And something I've noticed in the self-help personal growth world, they want you to program you to follow. Cowboy Wisdom Hypnoacuity is about communicating with your dreams and desired lifestyle through your daily life. Understanding you encompass the wisdom, insight, clarity, the gut gumption, the trailblazer brilliance to experience your dreams. And one thing I really want to emphasize to everybody, your dreams are unique to you. And there's nothing in the outside world that is exactly can show you or tell you how to do it. People can help facilitate it, but you're the only one that can rise to your dreamer's paradises through your own intuition, imagination. You're never going to think and know a dream. You can listen to the intuition, inspiration, and imagination of the dream, dawning, rebellious, enterprising audacity, magically experiencing the dream. But you can't think, no, listen to anything. Think and know shuts off the world. Is just like your ego larceny. It shuts off all the fresh foresight you eavesdrop in your daily life. You're going to rise out of the past by listening and communicating with your present moment experiences, encounters, and events. How many times do you go home and the same thing is going on in your physical world and at home? That's because you're living from everything you think and know and always done. And that's ego larceny. And see, I understand this because I allowed my ego to steal my dreams many, 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 many times. Then I'd always blame the outside world, saying, yeah, getting into the itch and the bitch and all the bullshit. And then I'd come back and really have to put up the tough guy attitude and then still go back and question it, release it, dissolve it, communicate it away. because I never wanted to look weak in other people's eyes. And I was trying to please other people. That's my egotistical, arrogant, stubborn thinking. I am somebody important. And when I really opened up to understand, only thing important within me is listening. And when I wakened and aware of my ego larceny that feeds my egotistical arrogance and know-it-all ignorance, because I created false stories. How many times has something happened in your life, but when you go to tell it a couple days later, the authenticity of that event is completely changed because you want to look good in other people's eyes, and you told it in a way you really feel good about yourself, rather than admitting and understanding the situation and the circumstances of it. How many times do you hear people tell a story or say something that happened in their life, and it's 360 degrees out of whack from what happened because you was there? When you change the story, the facts and the authenticity of the story, you're telling yourself an egotistical lie. And I have created false stories to make me feel good about myself, but in the end, it was a thief of my dreams. So I instantly cleansed my ego larceny, because that was my ego forging my life expanding events, encounters, and experiences to make my life look good in other people's eyes, missing and dissing the fresh wisdom, insight, and integrity and clarity of the situation. When you can open up and make any situation in your life 12 words or less, you take out the ego larceny. Oh, yeah, I could change it. But anytime you change the authenticity of a story or event of your life, you're a Tory stealing your own life and dreams, because you're a Tory to yourself. And then how have you I succumbed to my hard-headed ego, unwilling to listen to the free-flowing energy, and trusting the stubbornness of staying the same. How many times has something, chaos or something, occurred in your life and you're so stubborn and hard-headed you stay the same because you're unwilling to question it? I have. It's one thing I like about understanding free-flowing energy. Liberates me from me, and that's all I really. And one thing about it, when you liberate you from you, you're open to listening to your free-flowing inspirations, intuition, imagination, which is fresh foresight of the now. And as I move forward in life, I really realize the more I tell a story to look good in other people's eyes and make myself look like the superhero, I become the dreaded zero of my life because I'm stuck in yesterday. So when I really express the story through a question, I liberate me. Then I can stop telling the story from hindsight to present moment prophecy, clearing the way for me to understand me. And that is what I do. And so when I rose out of the ego larceny, I got to laugh at me, set me free. Then I got to write the nowography. Nowography is everything that's right here of my dreams for me to experience. I want to thank you, and may you enjoy a happy holidays. All right. Hmm. Well, we're trying to. Well, thank you. My end of stream wanted to be steal my dreams.